Kamala's here.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Everybody calm down.
Good afternoon.
Let's hear what Kamala has to
Good
say.
afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank you all. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. So let me say, and I love you back. And I love you back. So let me say, my heart is full today. My heart is full today, full of gratitude for the trust you have placed in me, full of love for our country, and full of resolve. The outcome of this election is not what we wanted, not what we fought for, not what we voted for, but hear me when I say, the light of America's promise will always burn bright. As long as we never give up, and as long as we keep fighting, America's promise will always burn bright.
L.
As long
Look at the chat.
as we never give up, and as long as we keep fighting.
Oh, they're spamming L's in the Kamala chat.
To my beloved Doug and our family, I love you so very much. To President Biden and Dr. Biden, thank you for your faith and support. To Governor Walz and the Walz family, I know your service to our nation will continue. And to my extraordinary team, to the volunteers who gave so much of themselves, to the poll workers and the local election officials, I thank you all.
Why is she smiling?
Look, I am so proud of the race we ran.
You lost to an
And the way we
imbecile
ran it.
fascist.
And the way we
Stop
ran it.
smiling.
Over the 107 days of this campaign, we have been intentional about building community and building coalitions, bringing people
Guys, she's smiling
together
because there's
from
going to be so
every
many Republicans
walk
in the
of life
cabinet.
and background, united by love of country with enthusiasm and joy in our fight for America's future.
She wanted all the Republicans to be in the cabinet, and she got it.
The knowledge that we all have so much more in common than what separates us. Now, I know folks are feeling and experiencing a range of emotions right now. I get it. But we must accept the results of this election. Earlier today, I spoke with President-elect Trump and congratulated him on his victory. I also told him that we will help him and his team with their transition, and that we will engage in a peaceful transfer of power. A fundamental principle of American democracy is that when we lose an election, we accept the results. That principle, as much as any other, distinguishes democracy from monarchy or tyranny. And anyone who seeks the public trust must honor it. At the same time, in our nation, we owe loyalty not to a president or a party, but to the Constitution of the United States. And loyalty to our conscience and to our God. My allegiance to all three is why I am here to say, while I concede this election, I do not concede the fight that fueled this campaign. The fight for freedom, for opportunity, for fairness, and the dignity of all people. A fight for the ideals at the heart of our nation, the ideals that reflect America at our best. That is a fight I will never give up. I will never give up the fight for a future where Americans can pursue their dreams, ambitions, and aspirations, where the women of America have the freedom to make decisions about their own body and not have their government telling them what to do. We will never give up the fight to protect our schools and our streets from gun violence. And America, we will never give up the fight for our democracy, for the rule of law, for equal justice, and for the sacred idea that every one of us, no matter who we are or where we start out, has certain fundamental rights and freedoms that must be respected and upheld. And we will continue to wage this fight in the voting booth, in the courts, and in the public square. And we will also wage it in quieter ways, in how we live our lives, by treating one another with kindness and respect, by looking in the face of a stranger and seeing a neighbor, by always using our strength to lift people up, to fight for the dignity that all people deserve. The fight for our freedom will take hard work, but like I always say, we like hard work. Hard work is good work. Hard work can be joyful work. And the fight for our country is always worth it. It is always worth it. To the young people who are watching, it is, I love you. To the young people who are watching, it is okay to feel sad and disappointed, but please know it's going to be okay. On the campaign, I would often say, when we fight, we win. But here's the thing. Sometimes the fight takes a while.
Thank you, for the 5
That doesn't mean we won't win. That doesn't mean we won't win.
What are you talking about? Win what?
The important thing is don't ever give up. Don't ever give up. Don't ever stop trying to make the world a better place. You have power. You have power. And don't you ever listen when anyone tells you something is impossible because it has never been done before. You have the capacity to do extraordinary good in the world. And so to everyone who is watching, do not despair. This is not a time to throw up our hands. This is a time to roll up our sleeves. This is a time to organize, to mobilize, and to stay engaged for the sake of freedom and justice and the future that we all know we can build together. Look, many of you know I started out as a prosecutor, and throughout my career, I saw people at some of the worst times in their lives.
Say it!
People who had suffered great harm and great pain. And yet found within themselves,
oh my God, please say it.
The strength
say it.
and the
say
courage
that you are a small
and the
business
resolve
lover. I'm a small business. You're a small business.
To take a stand, to fight for justice, to fight for themselves, to fight for others. So let their courage be our inspiration. Let their determination be our charge. And I'll close with this. There's an adage an historian once called a law of history, true of every society across the ages. The adage is, only when it is dark enough can you see the stars. I know many people feel like we are entering a dark time, but for the benefit of us all, I hope that is not the case. But here's the thing, America, if it is, let us fill the sky with the light of a brilliant, brilliant billion of stars. The light of optimism, of faith, of truth, and service.
Donald Trump said he's going to start mass deportations day one, by the way, as of this morning, according to Axios reporting.
And may that work guide us, even in the face of setbacks, toward the extraordinary promise of the United States of America. I thank you all. May God bless you, and may God bless the United States of America. I thank you all.
Why is she laughing and smiling? Why is she laughing and smiling? I don't understand. Even Doug looks more upset about the prospect of a American fascist tomorrow. You know what I mean? She's like, yeah, I fuck shit up. I tanked this shit, dude. That's right. That's right. I came in and I fucking destroyed any hope that you might have had of combating growing fascist momentum in this country. And I'm smiling and waving away, dude. Let's go. She made hints for a run in 2028, but her political future is dead, right? Don't tell me the libs will. No. She's done. It's over. I do not believe that Kamala Harris has a singular shot in hell of running for higher office or running for the highest office ever again. Especially because Nancy Pelosi and many others in the establishment actually fucking did not like her. They didn't. They were like, she sucks. We should do an open primary. I thought it was a mistake to do an open primary because I thought like she would at least have competent people around her to like, you know, message appropriately. I was wrong. I'm sorry, but what are you saying? You wanted her to cry or what? The fuck do you mean? Demonstrate the appropriate emotion for the fucking time, okay? For the times that are ahead. You just lost to Donald Trump. You just lost to a motherfucking fascist like Donald Trump, who was already, he had lost once already. People didn't like him. He was a disliked person. And she's over here smiling and being like, yeah, that's right. Are we in imminent danger or not? Is Donald Trump a fascist or not? Can someone explain this to me? A brief history of presidential concessions. Trump has never explicitly conceded. The thing is, the Democratic Party's like talent is so deep. The bench is deep, dude. There are a lot of guys like Timothy Waltz out there, okay? Tim Waltz is not the only guy. You got Gretchen Whitmer. You even have fucking the likes of Big Boy Pritzker. You have a lot of people out there. You have Bashar, Hasan, shut the fuck up challenge. You're fucking dumb. Let me guess. You're upset that I'm telling a woman that she shouldn't be smiling in this moment, right? That's what you're tracking. Is that what it is? Oh, never mind. White people happy. Okay, you're just fucking around. Anyway. So there are a lot of people in the fucking deck ready to go. People who could do populist leadership. The problem is, I think if the Democratic Party has populists that are popular, that they could actually present like a more radical, more progressive agenda that would be genuinely broadly popular and a game changer for many Americans. But Democrats also have the likes of Josh Shapiro and Pete Buttigieg. And I think the Democratic Party is going to recalculate and retriangulate and try to go back to the Pete Buttigieg in the talent pool, less than the likes of Gretchen Whitmer. That's what I foresee. They're going to go with the Newsom. Yeah, they're going to go with the Pete Buttigieg, Gavin Newsom, Shapiro route. Young, more vibrant, better communicators, certainly more charismatic than the likes of Kamala Harris, for example. But people who are still going to be seen as establishment shills with new packaging. We shall see what happens, because these next 4 years are going to be pretty important in hopefully changing the attitude within the Democratic Party, because this spectacular failure should at the very least wake up some people who still have some level of decency and some level of interest in preserving the future prospects of the American Democratic Party, maybe stopping American fascism. I don't know. It's kind of copium for sure.
The party that comes up short with the voters of this country regroups, and she seemed to do everything in her power to push the fight to the groups that Joy is talking about, who very much chose her.
Or maybe there won't be another election, so there's that reality as well. Let's look at Bernie's statement. It should come as no great surprise that the Democratic Party, which has abandoned working class people, would find the working class has abandoned them. First, it was the white working class. Now it is Latino and black workers as well. While the Democratic leadership defends the status quo, the American people are angry and want change, and they're right. Today, while the very rich are doing phenomenally well, 60% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck, and we have more income and wealth inequality than ever before. Unbelievably, real inflation accounted for weekly wages for the average American worker are actually lower now than they were 50 years ago. Today, despite an explosion in technology and worker productivity, many young people will have a worse standard of living than their parents, and many of them worry that artificial intelligence and robotics will make a bad situation even worse. Today, despite spending far more per capita than other countries, we remain the only wealthy nation not to guarantee health care to all as a human right, and we pay, by far, the highest prices in the world for prescription drugs. We alone among major countries cannot even guarantee paid family and medical leave. We're the only one who can't do that. Today, despite strong opposition from a majority of Americans, we continue to spend billions funding the extremist Netanyahu government's all-out war against the Palestinian people, which has led to the horrific humanitarian disaster of mass malnutrition and the starvation of thousands of children. Will the big money interests and well-paid consultants who control the Democratic Party learn any real lessons from this disastrous campaign? Will they understand the pain and political alienation that tens of millions of Americans are experiencing? Do they have any ideas as to how we can take on the increasingly powerful oligarchy, which has so much economic and political power? Probably not. In the coming weeks and months, those of us concerned, he said, probably not. He's done. He's like, yeah, I've won my 84th independent Vermont senatorial run. I'm done. I'm out. In the coming weeks and months, those of us concerned with grassroots democracy and economic justice need to have some very serious political discussions. Stay tuned. Anyway.